Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Chris and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for stopping by the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for everything Inter Miami. Sounded weird saying everything Inter Miami, for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching live on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. And in today's episode, we will be recapping yesterday's Inter Miami versus NYCFC draw. At the very end, it became a draw, so a little bit disappointing, but guess we can say we got a point. And we continue never to have won at NYCFC, which is a bit of a annoying record to hold. But before we get started, a quick thank you to our chief Heron Heads, Matias, Chao, and Mariví. Thank you for your continued generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon or visit our merch store or join our Discord server, you'll find a link in the description wherever you are listening. So be sure to check those out. And let's talk about this match yesterday. It was a really annoying match, in my opinion. What did you think, Chris?
That's a good way to annoying, boring. Just nothing happened most of the match, to be honest. I think our goal was our first shot on goal, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I heard correctly. But it was a mess, man. I mean, you would think with Messi in here, we'd just be firing on all cylinders, and the way that this team was playing before he got here, and it just wasn't there. I'm not blaming Messi. I don't know who to blame. I don't know if we should blame Tata right now. I don't know if we should blame the other players that don't really know how to play with Messi. We're seeing that Messi dependencia that we've spoken about before, which is not good. It's more of a regression than a progression here. And man, like you said, that 1 point is disappointing. Some teams would say, "Oh, at least we came out with a point." No. This is disappointing. We should come out there with 3 points, especially the way that we lost. At the last, there was 15 seconds left in extra time, and off of a corner, that's how we lose. That's like our Achilles heel, or has been our Achilles heel. This season, it's been pretty good, but it's a shame, man. It's heartbreaking, to say the least. I thought our defense played okay. They didn't play too bad. Noah Allen was surprisingly good. I'm actually curious to see what his rating is. I haven't looked at any ratings since yesterday or anything. So I think Noah Allen might have a decent rating because he played pretty well at center back. We know he's not a normal piece to play back there. But man, it was just a shame. It sucks to go down that way, especially when it's there in your fingertips, the W and the 3 points.
Yeah, it felt like one of those matches where it's like the team grinded, gets the result. It felt like it was trending that way. Like it was, like you said, and I agree. I think it was our first shot on target. I don't think we had many shots on target. But that goal was like, okay, cool. Like nothing's really gone our way, but we've found a way to get the result. And then, like set piece coming back to haunt us, and it is disappointing is really like the only word that comes to mind when you think about the result, because it was so herky-jerky. It like nothing about that game felt comfortable, and it was boring for stretches. It felt completely disjointed, bad turnovers, bad giveaways, and like you mentioned, like a lot of things that we thought we had gotten past seemed to rear their ugly heads.
Yeah, the attack was. Sorry, Jose, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna bounce off what you guys were saying. I mean, what I noticed from my vantage point, it didn't seem like we should have won the game at all, to be honest. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the stuff that got us here to being, let me get my mic a little closer. You guys got to hear it a little close. What's gotten us to where we are, where we went on that long streak of points. Not just points, wins. We were doing a lot of duels. We were winning a lot of the duels. We were going after 50-50 balls. We weren't getting pummeled like we were now. Particularly like now I feel bad for Cotton, the poor guy. He's got 17 shots. It's funny. Shoes said it. That's one of the stats I had for you, Shoes. 17 for New York, six for Miami. That's that's kind of a microcosm of the game, right? It's when you're constantly having to deal with a barrage of offense on the other side and not going after 50-50 balls. It's just a very bad. It's bad. It's just bad. That's not what got us to where we were. It's not what got us where we were. I have a few things to throw your way, Chris. You asked about No Island. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like we lost composure at some point around the 67th minute, where we just had a bunch of yellows. We just kept giving them free kicks, and that seems to be a trend. So for this club under the Tata regime in general, we lose composure for a team that's filled with veterans. We should have won this game. And what's happening lately is that we're leaving it to the last second, where anything can happen. It happened in the game before that, when we faced
Atlanta.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the game, right? That they were still hanging around, and it could have gone any which way. But yeah, man.
Yeah, just to jump on the fouls and all of that. I mean, someone has to take control of this team. We've said it time and time again, and it seems like nothing's happening. Yeah, we see Suarez. We see Suarez go crazy sometimes. Alba go crazy sometimes. But there's no reason that a Noah Allen should be acting the way that he's acting. Even if he had a good game, there's no reason he should be acting the way he's acting. There's no way Toto Aviles should come in out of left field for absolutely no reason and get a yellow card.
That's
literally left field.
I mean,
for those of you who didn't know, they played in Yankee Stadium last night, so
he upended him. I mean, that was
it was unnecessary. It was super unnecessary, and there's no composure on this team. And someone at some point has to say, "Hey, relax. We're in this game, and we can't let you guys just go off like this." Now we have Toto teetering on missing another match, because right now it's every 2 yellow cards. So he just needs one more, and he's out again. I think we're going. Who are we missing? Do you guys remember who we're going to be missing next match?
No? Redondo, and we're going to be missing. Oh shoot!
No Allen. No Allen. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. At some point, someone has to sit these guys down and say, "Hey, relax. You're not these great soccer players that are here, and they could kind of get away with it. No, you guys have to relax. You're still young. You got to learn the way that they are, and the reason that they were able to do that or to speak that way, and just take a back seat for now, because it's just ridiculous."
But also, Chris, just to poke at the veterans on the team in general. If you have a lot of young guys, maybe you should kind of watch your yellow cards as well, because it's obviously affecting these younger guys to the point where like Redondo, like, come on, man, like we need him. We need him as center mid. You know, I'm gonna tell you though. I think one thing that we were lacking is Gomez. I think we're really I think he is a glue to the team, particularly to the attack. If we were to have him, I want to say we would have been a little more efficient, because it did seem like they locked up Messi and Alba a little bit, right? So it's like, okay, well, who's next? You know, who's next?
Yeah.
Kudos to NYCFC for their defense on us. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I want to also give a huge shout out to your guy's boy Robert Taylor. 22nd minute, amazing save that he did on Suarez. It was a sure goal, and he just, you know what,
said, "Not today."
Yeah.
He was in Yankee Stadium. He's like, he played catcher right there, baby. He said, "No, sir, not you, not today, not in my house."
Never seen someone so happy for their team not to score. Like Jose right now.
No, it's with this guy Campana today. I mean, bro, Alba threw the most beautiful pass. That's one of those backboard.
Say it, Jose. Say it. He had no choice.
He had no choice but to score in that position. He had no choice. He could have. The only way is if he would have literally gone straight up, just hit the ball, and go straight up.
It's possible.
It was such a beautiful play, but the setup from Messi to out, you know, we can't all be.
Yeah, no. That is
sucks, but like
that is what it was going to take to win this match, right? And it's like we did it, and then man, it really bothers me as a Campana supporter and obviously as just generally speaking an Inter Miami supporter, but like to get that goal, and also I felt, and this is, I'm not just like blowing smoke, but it did feel like when Campana came on, everything worked a little more smoothly. It did feel like we got, I don't know if it was like the spacing or what, but it felt like we really started to get into rhythm a little bit better. And unfortunately, Noah Allen gets sort of injured. I couldn't tell if he was like cramping or what, but he went down. NYCFC doesn't play the ball out. They don't have to, but he was down in our own defensive box. So he was keeping a lot of people on side, obviously. NYCFC keeps playing with the ball. Campana is forced to come back and commit a foul. The free kick from the foul led to the corner that they scored on. And it's like, it's so frustrating because you can trace that to Campana, but I thought he played very well when he came on, apart even from just the goal that he scored, because again, like he made a good run and he finished, but he really didn't have any choice but to finish. But I thought outside of that, he played really well. And the foul was one he had to kind of take because Noah Allen was just literally on the ground in the penalty box. So it's like, it's frustrating. And then it's frustrating that was the first domino to fall that led to the goal that, came out and netted a draw for us.
Yeah. Mike V is asking, now is it Tata out? Hashtag Tata out.
Yeah, that made me chuckle a little bit.
He's had, well,
No.
It's not.
No,
Atlanta wasn't him. He wasn't playing. He wasn't there. And it's still just one match at the end of the day. The season has been fairly successful. Yes, we don't have any hardware yet, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a bad showing from him yesterday. But is that out? I don't think so. I still can't say that.
You can't. Apart from not winning hardware, sorry, Jose. Apart from not winning hardware to this point, we are leading the Supporter Shield race by a good amount, and there is still even a chance for us to set the points record in the MLS.
Right.
So
it's hard to get someone else.
Like we can joke and be like, "Oh yeah, Tata, he should have done better," and we could have already secured that points record by now if we had a better manager. But at the end of the day, man, like,
hey,
what are we talking about?
Guess what? We get bounced in the playoffs in the first round.
Yeah, serious conversations. Serious
conversations. Tata, big time out.
Hey, but
Tata and Toto can do each other's bags and get the hell out of here at the same time.
Hey, but in his defense,
and get a yellow card in the last game twice.
Those matches that Messi was in here, that was all Tata's doing. I mean, he set up the team perfectly. Yes, the players played their games, but he set up the teams perfectly. He had the right formations. He had the right tactics. So, I mean, yes, it's frustrating to see something like this, but also you got to give him his flowers, and he did well while Messi was out.
I agree, though. But the comments blew up with your points record thing. I agree.
It's not about whether we get the points record or not. It's that we're in a position to get it. Are we gonna maybe get it? It's gonna be really hard because now we have to win 3 and draw 1 at worst. So is it likely? Probably not. But the fact that we're in a position to get it this late in the season, I think warrants a merit.
And I'll tell you what, this right here, what I think we're going through is a mixture of two things. Gomez not being in, all these yellow card accumulations hitting at the same freaking time, and Messi, we're literally integrating a whole new arsenal of just how we play. How we play, gentlemen, has changed. It has changed. You see it all over. You just see it. I'm not saying installing him is a bad thing. It's just not. He will ultimately make us better, but we haven't integrated yet. We just haven't, and this is what's happening. We should never have lost NYCFC. That's what it is. Now we're gonna be facing, and guess what? A lot of the folks that we're gonna be facing now, our next matchup is against Charlotte. Guess what? We should win that game, but they're the 6th seed in the East, and I'm gonna tell you what they're fighting for: to get into the playoffs. They're not trying to fight for a record. They're trying to get into the playoffs. And you remember how we were last year when we were trying to get in. Remember, we were going balls to the wall, just trying to get in, and we're doing whatever we could, just clawing and biting whoever got in our way. Suarez particularly. No, he wasn't there, but it's going to be a rough goal.
I'm gonna read this post from Franco Panizo. I forget what outlet he's from, but he reports and talks about Inter Miami. And I thought this was as well as you could possibly word this sentiment that I personally agree with. A team with Messi on the field is better than a team without Messi on the field. But it is clear that he needs to regain his rhythm and that Inter Miami needs to relearn how to play with him. The sample size is small, but mixed display in these 3 games since his return. And I think all those things are true, right? Like Messi makes any team he's on better, but Inter Miami learned to play a completely different style while he was injured. And it was a style that doesn't necessarily suit this team now that he's back. So Inter Miami needs to relearn how to play with Messi. Just like, and it's weird because that's going to be interpreted in awful ways, but it's true. Like these are players that are not at Messi's level. So they need to get in his stratosphere so that we can click on all cylinders, because it's very difficult to sort of acclimate to the speed. I mean, a number of times there were passes that Messi played, or that passes that were intended to go to Messi, that were just a little bit off. And when you're just a little bit off, it throws off the rhythm and timing of a number of things, especially when you're talking about runs in behind and one touch passes, right? Like so much of what we do when we're most successful is predicated on really sharp, accurate play. And when you're a little bit off, it just doesn't look good.
And
so
he also hasn't played in how many months?
For sure.
Like with this team, he hasn't played how many months? Like a lot of guys, people in the comments were saying, hello, that I don't understand why you guys are saying that. Well, because folks, like he hasn't played in like 3 months with this team, and this team happened to be winning every single game without him. It doesn't mean that we're not better without him in general. We're better with him, but it's just the style of play that we were doing was basically relying on, we had to win duels, we had to rely on counters, we had to rely on pressure on the back lines of other teams, and that would in itself was working, right? That was working. Do I think that'll take us very far in the playoffs? No, I don't think so. So that's why we need to figure out how to put this in, how to make it work with Messi. And I would love to make it kind of a little bit like what we were doing before, but I don't know if that's going to work at this point. Like, look, just so you guys understand what I'm trying to say, the duels, we literally lost duels 55% to NYCFC. NYCFC won 79% of the tackles that they tried on us. With XGs, NYCFC had 1.16, we had 0.81. And we need to do a better job of putting teams away. Like we were up the whole game. We were up, not the whole game, but we were up for most of the game, and then out of nowhere, we're just lingering around to a stupid header from out of nowhere just comes in and ruins our time.
And it felt it, man. Like Campana scored the 70th minute thereabouts. The remainder of the game felt like one of those games that we were parking the bus really inefficiently, like really poorly, like that, like an exhibit on how not to park the bus. And it just felt like it was coming. And then it got to the end of regulation and you were like, okay, like I feel all right. And then they gave 5 minutes of extra time and it's like, okay, we might make it through here. But it still felt super tight and stressful because they just weren't doing a great job. And I think a big part that we haven't quite spoken about yet is Busquets' absence from the lineup. He had some personal reasons. I don't think anything official's come out, but it seemed like maybe he was getting engaged or had recently gotten engaged. But his absence also factors into this, right? Like we talk about Gomez missing. I think that's a huge contributor to these sort of results. But Busquets not being there also is a tremendous downgrade, right? When you think about this game that's so mucked up and it's so just like everything feels really disjointed. You need someone with the passing ability of a Busquets and the composure of a Busquets to maybe make that incisive pass and play a ball, across and switch the play a little bit, because it felt like everything was either really slow in the buildup or it just ended in Messi getting the ball and having to run at 4 defenders, which every now, like 50-50 if he gets through or not, but it ended up with him getting dispossessed quite a bit towards the top of the box, which, who knows if 1 or 2 different passes there makes all the difference, or just having the threat of a pass from a Busquets. So I think his absence also factored in pretty heavily to this result.
Even
Mike, wait, let me comment on this, Mike. If once we are Tata out, I will personally do the, I would definitely bring a check out for sure.
No, what I was gonna say to that, Julio, too. Even when we scored, it was almost predictable. It was Redondo to Messi, Messi to Alba. We've seen that a bunch of times. The pass from Redondo to Messi, it was so tight. I mean, it was good, but it was, again, kind of forcing the fact, and luckily Messi was able to kind of block out the defender on like his right hand side, and he was able to drive up the pitch. But again, it was that forcing into Messi again, and yeah, that time it worked. He was able to kick it out to Alba. Alba made a beautiful pass to Campana, but that's kind of what's getting us in trouble right now. And until they kind of work to take an extra pass somewhere else or something and then get it to Messi, it's just fine. But it seems like they're just forcing it right down the middle to Messi, and that's where we get into the kind of this trouble that we're seeing. And that's where it kind of just, like you said, it just stops. It doesn't get into that attacking third, or doesn't get into the box. Kind of just stops right there because Messi's getting beat up by 2-3 defenders at a time.
Speaking of, I'm just interrupting with literally nothing that you said is what my next thought's going to be. It's one of those.
That's usually the case.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, speaking of him, but you literally said none of the players that were on least of the match. So we're just going to jump right into that. Least of the match, what were your guys' thoughts? Who did you hate seeing out there?
Gressel didn't do anything for me.
Robert Taylor
didn't do anything.
Well, he did a lot. Robert Taylor did a lot.
Yeah, he played great defense
great defense. Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Gressel.
I'll go Robert Taylor. Robert Taylor. Yeah.
Robert Taylor was on the list, my personal list, but also the list. Least of the match was Bright.
Oh, Shoes is right.
Bright, yeah, and Frey. But
our
6.3. Our
favorites. Yeah.
Our 2 favorites. They did not have a good game. RT 6.4. So he sucked as well. It was just, officially he sucked.
Quantitatively sucked.
Statistically, it just sucked. All right. Man of the match. Who did you guys enjoy watching? Yes, sir.
Yeah, it has to. It has to be Campana or Alba. I think Alba had a decent match too. I'll go with Alba just to be different.
So the 3 men of the match were Campapi, 7.7. He is the man of the match. Followed by your boy Chris, Noah Allen.
I knew it. I had a feeling he had a very good match.
Very good match, and and that was with the yellow card, right?
Yeah.
So imagine how much better, It's a shame,
He was even winning heading duels. I mean, he was getting up there. The kid was like flying up. Yeah. That was impressive.
The one where he got injured.
Yeah, that one. There's two. There's 2. He like jumped up there. He got up there
out of his skin to get to that ball.
Yeah.
He had Mike Seeker's drink
juice.
Yeah, from Space Jam. Alba 7.3. So not wrong, none of you guys.
Yeah, I think all those pass the eye test, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, listen, Noah Allen, 2 straight really strong performances.
This is why This is why Tata loves this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You gotta just throw your hands up. You gotta just throw your hands up and be like, man, good job.
He just doesn't have that size, man.
I would have never done it. Yeah.
He's just missing that size.
And don't pull your hammy.
Everyone else seems to be doing a terrible job at staying on the field, not getting yellow card, having yellow card issues. This guy always gonna have a spot on this team,
We know that for a fact.
Just hamstring issues,
Find a way.
soft
Whatever.
tissue, just
Through
yellow
thick and thin,
cards,
no Allens there.
throwing chairs at the at the ref. That's probably next. If we're honest.
I'm gonna answer Tony real quick. He said he's asking who else is on the field who can create. Talking about the whole Messi things, forcing to Messi. My point is not
a bad question.
It's not a bad question. My point is don't give it to Messi. My point is do something else in order to get it to Messi. They're just going straight from one of our midfielders right down the middle to Messi. I mean, Albo's having a good game. Robert Taylor, we know he wasn't very hot today, but kick it out to Robert Taylor. Do something else. It's just so predictable. Every time one of our midfielders got the ball, it was just, okay, here you go. It's going to go to Messi. He's being double teamed, triple teamed. Do something else is my point. You're literally doing nothing all match. The match was a stalemate until when did we score? The 65th or 60 something minute. It's literally a stalemate. I mean, do something else. That's all I'm asking for. I get it. All of our offensive firepower is not there. Gomez isn't there. But, geez, come on, man. I mean, this team was doing so good not too long ago, and it's because they were moving it up the field. They were making the correct passes, and now we just didn't see it today or yesterday. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't give it to Messi. We have to give it to Messi. Obviously, he's the playmaker on this team. But my point is to find another way to get it to him and let him be that creative mastermind that he is.
Wait, don't take that out, Folio. That's a great nickname, the Ukrainian Superman. That's good stuff for Christoph. Love that.
That's a great nickname. His nationality,
Ukrainian Superman. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't creative at all.
It really tickled your fancy there.
I liked it, Mike. But yeah, Tony, I totally agree. Let's put that on up here. Taylor hasn't created anything.
That's Jose's favorite comment of the
episode. On his bathroom. Taylor hasn't created. I'll show him.
Just sit down right. on the toilet and just look up.
That's right. Big hype. So, what is your guys? There's four matches left in the season. Inter Miami have let's see. Columbus has a game in hand on us. So we're 8 points ahead of them. If they were to win the game in hand, we're 5 points ahead of them with 4 matches remaining. What's your guys' feeling, confidence level on winning the Supporter Shield at this point? We have 4 matches left, and if you bear with me, those matches will be against
it's
Charlotte, Columbus. So Columbus obviously is a big one because that's like a potential 6-pointer, I guess. Toronto and New England.
Yeah.
Toronto and Columbus are away.
If I'm being honest, we should win 3 of those 4. Columbus is going to be the push for me. I mean, they're a great team. They're going to be one of those teams that we may see in the playoffs again at some point. Yeah, so they're a great team. You have to give that to them. Charlotte should be a win. I don't know. Charlotte should be a win. Toronto should be a win. New England should definitely be a win.
NYCFC should have been a win.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. NYC should have been a win. It depends the team that we're going to get.
It depends.
Technically, we should win 3 of those 4.
It depends who we have. How long is Gomez out for?
We don't know. No idea.
I think that's a huge factor. I think the sooner we get this team back, ideally we want to be fully healthy getting into the playoffs, right? So, just because we want the Supporter Shield, right? But we also want to be healthy for the playoffs, right? So it's
definitely
a tough spot because we're not playing right now.
It's a weird spot, right? Because we also haven't won any other silverware, so it's it's more than I think just saying the Supporter Shield would be nice. I think getting the Supporter Shield is somewhat indicative of the success of this project. So I think it's a little bit more than that. But I think you can say Charlotte should be a win. New England should be a win.
Charlotte's home.
Right. Charlotte and New England are home.
And New England are home.
Yeah. Then Toronto. Our magic number is 8. So if we win Charlotte and New England, that means win either of Columbus or Toronto,
Without
and
help.
the Supporter Shield is locked up.
This is without help. 8 points, you're saying.
Correct. If Columbus wins every single match, but we win the other 3, we win the Supporter Shield. They don't catch us. So my confidence level is still like 8 as far as winning the Supporter Shield, because listen, at the end of the day, these results have been disappointing. The Atlanta one and the New York City FC, but we're still in the driver's seat. Yeah. And I mean, like at the end of the day,
I'd rather be in our situation than other
for sure. And
Tata's driving
also,
the bus, baby.
And also, just when you consider just the depth that we have, like not only are we in the driver's seat points wise, but we have a good team. Like there's a lot of it's just disappointment. It's frustration because we should have been winning these matches. We should have won in Atlanta. We should have won in New York because we have a better team, and that's the frustrating part. But we have the better team. That's the point. We have the better team. And while it doesn't look good these last 2 games, they're going to figure it out. I have faith that they will figure it out. We've had stretches where we've looked pretty bad, but we've had stretches where we look really good. And I have faith that they'll put it together just based off of Messi. Like we have Messi. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the biggest get out of jail free card.
I'm curious if we're still, we still haven't seen the actual core of the team that was going on this win streak before Messi came back. We haven't seen that core with Messi inserted in there. We haven't seen it. I'm curious if we are even going to see it. The 3 in the back with Martinez, Busi, Toto, and then Messi inserted for, let's say, Gressel or whatever in the front. We still haven't seen that. I'm curious to see if Tata is going to go back to that, or if he's just going to stick to this 4-3-3 that we've been seeing. We had success early in the season when Messi was here. The last 2 games we have not had success with it. Hopefully that'll change, but I think that's a big that's a big question mark because that team was very, very, very successful. And I feel like, and we've said it here, inserting Messi into that lineup would just take it to the next level. So if Tata does that, I don't know. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But it's interesting to see.
Yeah, hopefully we get some of these pieces back soon. We get, hopefully David Martinez, who was walking after that match that he got injured or tweaked. Mm-hmm. I heard after that New York match that Diego Gomez is expected back this next match, but there's nothing official out yet. So that would be great, obviously. Yeah. I believe Rojas is slated to come back in this upcoming match as well. So those are whether they're starting or rotational options, those are really important pieces to closing the season out on a as high as possible. Mm-hmm. I think Charlotte is a good team to be hosting next. I think that's a much easier opponent. Like I mentioned earlier, we've never won at NYCFC. That pitch is awful.
God awful.
Smaller. It felt like our players were uncomfortable with the spacing. And it's weird because like they're professionals, like they should be able to adapt pretty easily, but man, it's so routine, it's so like hardwired in their brain that like you're gonna have an extra yard over here, that all of a sudden like certain passes were just off, and a couple passes went over players' heads and out of bounds because there just wasn't enough space, and it adds up. Like it's a cumulative effect. So it's a tough match. I was hammering Inter Miami on Hard Rock because they kept promoting it, like they kept boosting, and I was like, man, something might be up, but also like I'm gonna keep doing it. So it made the draw even more painful. But it's a tough fixture. It's a tough fixture. Like it's a scrappy New York City FC team. They've been on a slump, more or less. They still haven't won a match in like 2 months. So all those things are like, it's disappointing. But Charlotte should be an easier match. Of course, a lot of these teams are fighting for their playoff lives. So will they be scrappy like NYCFC? Yes, definitely. Will we have to play a good game? Yes, definitely. Because when we don't, even if it's for a second, we get punished. So all those things can be true. But I like our chances.
Me too.
I think that's like the moral of the story is disappointing result, but I like where we are. And like you said, Jose, like I'd rather be us than any other team.
Mm-hmm.
Although Galaxy look decent, but I'd still rather be us.
Very nice.
Ricky Puig is like, it's been an animal lately, man. But yeah.
So now next match is Saturday. So we get a nice little break. Heading into this week, I thought we had a midweek fixture, but I'm really happy we don't. But after this match, I think it gets tight again. I think we turn around quick. But Saturday we'll be hosting Charlotte. And that match is back to a 7:30 start. Thankfully, the 2:00 start really, like, it's like my body kind of wanted to nap. I had just had lunch. I was all out of sorts. So glad that we'll have an evening match again.
If anybody wants to go to the game, there's 2 remaining home games in the regular season. It's like $90, the cheapest ticket right now.
It's still early in the week, so
that's not bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right, so it's not bad
because you would imagine Messi's playing.
Just to see Messi, like how many people have gone and Messi wasn't there, he was hurt or whatever.
I wonder if we should, as a show, go to the closing match with the potential of winning the Supporter Shield.
That'd be so fun.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody could tailgate with us. That sounds like a plan.
That could be really fun.
A live show from the parking lot.
Doubt it.
All right, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Cool. Well, any closing remarks here? Thoughts?
We can make it like college game day.
Put a helmet on.
You're definitely
put the Heron head.
I literally said we're not gonna do that, and then I went right into we could make it like college game day.
Maybe. Oh, look, Mike V's gonna sell us his tickets. He has
there you
4.
go.
All right, Mike. If you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord so we can message back and forth because I think that could legitimately be.
It could be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, great. We don't have that kind of money. Well, maybe there's a stipulation if we take like a Tata out sign. He'll drop the price. He'll drop the price substantially. So,
no. If I show up in a checkout suit,
that's right.
Trumpet and all.
And then Chris, fuera. We can negotiate, Mike.
Yeah, we'll negotiate. Yeah, but I think that's all that we needed to say about the NYCFC match. We'll do a preview for the Charlotte match. I keep forgetting we're playing Charlotte. I don't know why. They're very forgettable.
I keep wanting to say Montreal. I don't know why.
Me too. It's the blue.
For real.
It's the blue. So anyways, we will have a preview episode out on Wednesday for the Charlotte match. We'll dive into potential pitfalls for Inter Miami and where they can succeed. So be sure to join us for that. Follow us on socials at the Heron Heads on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And until Wednesday, we will see you guys then. Thank you guys for tuning into the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, and have a good night.